Hello everyone, this is Fandom Murder here, and today I have a Doctor Strange X-Rated story. So obviously, since this is my very first Doctor Strange X-Rated story, you can obviously expect it to be shit and everything because I am not used to writing these, but I don't know if you guys remember, but back in my last Rocket X-Rated story, I had asked if you guys were interested in seeing a Doctor Strange X-Rated story. So I figured, and so one of my subscribers had requested that the reader would be someone who has the power of animation, where they can make inanimate objects come to life. And I figured, well, why the heck not, and everything. So it's gonna be pretty terrible again, but I did try my best of the best. But I do plan on trying to be a little bit more accurate later on. But let's get started. You were at the library of the New York Sanctum studying magic. Yes, you were, in fact, what some would call a magician. When you were younger, you had fallen out of a plane and barely survived with your life. While it was true you had survived, you were still very unlucky. When you awoke, the doctors looked at you with awe in their eyes, but it quickly turned to pity. They broke the news to you that one of your legs was permanently damaged and you wouldn't be able to dance ever again. For some, that wasn't a big deal, but for you, it was a fate worse than death. You had been a dancer ever since you were a child, and music was often the reason you had continued to live. You went from place to place, doctor to doctor, until you heard of a sanctum in Nepal that could heal a person's broken bones. After saving up to go there, you arrived. Ever since then, you have been a loyal student of the sanctum, and eventually was moved to the New York sanctum to continue your studies. You had even found your artifact. It was a silver and amethyst bracelet that gave you the power to make an inanimate object come to life. For the most part, during your training and time at the sanctum, you had always kept to yourself. You mostly focused on your studies and honing your skills. But that all changed today. You were reading a book, as bored as ever, when you grabbed your pencil, an idea appeared in your head. You focused your mind on the pencil, and sure enough, it sparkled with magical energy. It began floating in the air and placed itself at the start of your paper. You then spoke what you wanted the pencil to write, and it followed your command. As you were writing your paper, a deep voice snapped you out of your thoughts. That's very impressive. You jumped up and turned your head around, and nearly freaked at who was standing behind your chair. The one and only Doctor Strange. You had obviously heard of him when you first came to the New York sanctum, but you never thought you'd meet him in person. He raised an eyebrow when you didn't respond. He raised his eyebrows when you didn't respond immediately, and you shook your head. Thanks. The pencil floated up and pointed itself at Strange's chest. Hey, no, don't hurt him. He chuckled at you and picked up the pencil and held it between his shaking fingers. The pencil wiggled out of his grasp and landed back on the desk. All right, I think you've had enough fun for today, he said and stared at the pencil. All of a sudden, the magical energy disappeared, and he looked back up at Doctor Strange. How did you do that? He said. You swore that his voice could probably make your body give out. You swallowed the lump in your throat and looked down at your bracelet. My artifact. It's the bracelet of animation. The only downside to having this is that it gives everything a personality. He chuckled at that comment, and your heart fluttered. I don't believe we've given our names. I'm Dr. Stephen Strange. You are? Your name, last name. Doctor Strange held out a trembling hand to you. You couldn't help but notice the small scars on his hand. You gently took his hand in yours and shook it. It felt so warm, and you wanted to hold his hand forever. You can simply say that the rest was history. One date led to another, which led to many, when one day you had some very special news for him. Hey, Strange. Yes, your name? He said as he was reading a book in his chair in your room. You giggled mischievously and walked towards him. You grabbed his book and put it on the end table next to you and straddled his waist. Guess what I found out today? What? I'm pregnant. Wait, what? He said as his head shot up. You giggled. I'm pregnant, you said in a calmer tone. He just simply looked at you in silence before forcefully hugging you. I'm so happy, your name. I guess that now would be as good of a time as any, he said. He then pushed you off of him and he knelt down. He snapped his fingers and held out a golden ring to you. Your name, last name, will you marry me? You knelt down and gave him a tender kiss on the lips and then pulled away. Does that answer your question? He chuckled and spoke. Not really. Maybe another kiss will. Gladly. You could definitely say you were the happiest girl in the whole world. The end. Again, I really don't think that the story's all that great and everything. I wouldn't say that it's by far the worst story I've ever created, by means no, but I am not particularly overly proud of it either. But I am relatively happy with it, and I'm pretty good and everything. But I hope that you guys all enjoyed the story. And the next person, and the star of the next video will be Elle. I'm going to be making an LX Reader story that I have been meaning to make for quite some time now. So I hope that you guys are all ready for that story. And as always, this is Fandom Writer, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. Bye-bye.